These here are the Sayre Junior Redskins. They're rough, they're tough, they're lean, they're mean, and today they're here to welcome you to
Morning Times Football Friday!
Strike up the band because it's time for highlights, spotlights, scores, and more.
If you like close, competitive, nail-biting football games, our Valley teams weren't the one to keep your eye on this weekend. But if you like helmet-splitting, hard-hitting, in-your-face football with pounds of points and yards of, well, yards, we have plenty of that for you. And most of our local teams came home happy this past weekend.
Heading into this game, nobody gave the Waverly Wolverines much chance against the Maine Endwell Spartans, ranked 23rd in Class A in New York State. But you know what? For a while, this was a football game. Early first quarter, QB Dylan Gutierrez, taking over for the injured Zach Cooney, finds Nick Sensabaugh down the sideline. 75 yards for a touchdown. That's a catch so good it makes you want to slap your cameraman. Sorry, Dave. Still first half, Gutierrez fires one up the middle to Joe Grazel. He takes a lick and holds onto the ball. How about a little defense? Spartans up 27. Maine Endwell quarterback Max Zanicki pitches out to Kean Thane, and whoops, there's a little droption on that option. Nick Pusaloo recovers it and takes it to the house. Maine Endwell would prove too much for the Wolverines, though. Waverly tallies up 366 offensive yards as they fall to the Spartans 58-34. The Wolverines are at home Friday night against the Newark Valley Cardinals. The Athens Wildcats had a bad taste in their mouths after last week's opening loss to Wyalusing. This week, when the Cowanesque Valley Indians came to town, the Wildcats' leading rusher on the night, Casey Shiposh, and the rest of the offense had just what they needed to make themselves feel a little bit better. Early second quarter, the Wildcats are deep in Indian territory. Shiposh gets the handoff, and he pounds in one of his 2 rushing touchdowns for the evening. Justin Schlosser and Tyler Birdsall would each add 2 rushing touchdowns. Alex Fraley put one in as well, and quarterback Nick Carl hit a 29-yard touchdown strike to Brad Sampson. This one went mercy early. The Athens Wildcats racked up 446 yards of total offense and pasted the Cowanesque Valley Indians 62-0. We can't overlook the stingy Athens defense either. They did their jobs Friday night and held the Indians to just 115 total yards. This week, Troy visits Alumni Stadium. They're 0-2 so far, having fallen to Towanda and Hughesville, so you know they're out for a win. And when the Trojans come to Athens, they almost always make things interesting. The game is Friday at 7 p.m. Tioga Tigers up at Odessa Montour last week for a Division VIII duel with the Indians. This week's Human Highlight Reel is thanks to Matt Stahl. As a receiving tight end, Stahl's job is to catch passes. Here he reels in a 25-yarder from Cody Bennett that's good for a touchdown. Stahl's pretty good at catching passes. In fact, if you put him out there on defense, he'll catch the other guys too. Quarterback Kyle Bailey drops back to pass, finds Adam Strong in his face, and Stahl picks him off. Let's give the Tigers' ground game some props, too. David Ulrich ran for 47 yards and a touchdown. Derek Heyman, quarterback Cody Bennett, and Carter Jackson also scored rushing touchdowns. Tioga Center brings home the victory, beating Odessa Montour 35-6. Every game is a division game for the Tigers from here on out. Friday night, they host the Edison Spartans.
This week's Morning Times Football Friday Spotlight shines on the Sayre Redskins, and not only because they beat Lords Regional 46-0.
And not only because they racked up 400 yards of offense in that game, and not only because they had 2 rushers gain over 100 yards apiece. We want to tell you a little bit about their pretty impressive linebacker core as well. Be sure to pick up a copy of Friday's Football Friday print edition and learn more about these guys. But for now, let's get to those Redskin highlights.
The Redskins had a disappointing season opener, dropping a winnable game to CMVT down in Bloomsburg. Last week, when they hosted Lords Regional, they were looking for some respect, and earn it, they did. Late in the game, Red Raiders QB Dylan Lawrence fires off a short pass to Tyler Holleran. Up from middle linebacker comes Al Badolis to make the stop. Sayre would hold Lords to just 56 total yards in the game. And offense, there was plenty. The Redskins had 382 yards total on their way to blanking the Red Raiders 46-0. Joe Yanuzzi led the squad with 141 rushing yards and 2 rushing TDs. Here we see him showing the Red Raiders his taillights in the third quarter, but this game was already out of hand. He also caught a 20-yard pass and took that in for a score. Brad Felt and Tyler Williams each ran one in, and Don Vellani, getting the start at quarterback, was good for 2 rushing touchdowns on his way to a 102-yard rushing night. The Redskins take on their first NTL small school opponent Saturday at 1:30 when they travel to Canton to meet the Warriors.
Dom, how difficult was it for you to make the transition from wingback to quarterback this past week?
Well, I was practicing actually all summer at the quarterback position, and me and Tyler have been going at it. The competition's been pretty tough between us all summer, and even on the 7-on-7s, I was a quarterback and a wingback, so I've been shuffling both of them since then. But it wasn't that hard because I've been doing it all year, basically.
And what do you think the Redskins' strengths are right now on offense?
On offense, it's the running game, as shown at last game against Lords. We had like a 300-yard rushing night. Me and Joe had about 240. I think he had a 140-yard rushing night. Definitely one of the main strengths of the team.
Hey, these guys are ready for some football. Are you? Enjoy your football weekend. And don't forget to click back here next week for another edition of
Morning